Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. This is my, as promised, FPL Wildcard video. We're going through the best wildcard options for this upcoming international break. As I said, I promised I would do. Let's get straight into it. We're going to take everyone out of the team and I'm going to analyse what would be needed for the team and who you should be looking at really at getting your team and what other potential players there are to be interested in, I'd say. We're going to go through the teams methodically. We're going to go through how the top of the table looks. Maybe, actually we'll go through alphabetically. Right now Arsenal are probably the most informed team in the league and most players that you want to be looking at. In my opinion, I'd want to get one of the defenders in. Either Raya, who is mostly guaranteed the game time, but obviously has been rotated a few times with Ramsdale this season. Ben White, who's been getting up that right side very well, or Saliba, who's guaranteed to play in every game at centre back because of how strong they are. And I personally go for Saliba, but any of those options would be fine and fine. Saka is obviously the key there. He's the highest point scorer for Arsenal this year on 178 points. And then you've got a few other options that you could go with. You could back yourself on another defender, bringing in someone like Ben White, Raya, or you can go to a more attacking sided player. You could go for an Nketiah or a Gabriel Jesus. But I personally, if I were to go for one right now, I'd go for a Kai Havertz. But we're going to see how we go for the rest of the team and have a look at what else you want to bring into the team. Going on to Aston Villa. I'm going to build the team and then take players out is what we're going to do. On to Aston Villa. And in terms of the players that you want to bring in, I wouldn't be too sure on bringing anyone in, really, from the defence. If you want to back the defence from Villa, I'd go for Martinez. You can see, out of all the defenders, he has the highest points out of them all. So we're going to put Martinez in the team for now. Douglas Luiz always gets himself involved in goals. And then Watkins as well. Has a great run ahead of him. So yeah, Watkins has been the highest point scorer in FPL this year. Obviously going to get into the team. I'm not playing my wildcard this video. This is me running it through with you guys. Bournemouth have a really nice run coming up though. If you look at their fixtures, look at that. It's a lot of green towards the end of the season. And we know when the double game weeks are going to be for them. They've got no more games hiding. You've got a double game week in that 34. But it's Villa away and Wolves away. Potentially what you want to look at is getting Neto. And I think in terms of the defensive options, Neto is the best option there. And then following into the attack, there's not really much that screams out in the midfield for you. Obviously Semenyo up front, and Unal has found his form a bit recently, so you might see him come to your teams. And I said Tavernier is more like a Matoma. How my feelings against Matoma are. If you've watched me before, I don't really rate him too highly in terms of an FPL asset. I think he's a good footballer, but once people read that thesis of his, they just vanished. In terms of Brentford, Regulon would do it, but one that shouts out to me, but he's suspended right now. It's because of goal in last game as well. It's not. No, he got a red card in 9 minutes. What am I talking about? I know he got a minus point. I remember that. In terms of the attack, you might want to bring a Tony in. We're going to put Tony in for now. That's the only one for Brentford that I'd really take, and it's not even taken to the biggest of strengths. On to Brighton, and you know how I feel about Brighton. I think their rotation is just too high, too much. The only player that I'd kind of look at here would be Gross. Other than that, I wouldn't be really looking at any Brentford players. The rotation gets happened too much. On to Burnley, and I really wouldn't look at any Burnley players. The only Burnley player that screamed out to me this year has been Koleosho. Actually, I do lie, Fofana has screamed out to me quite a bit, but he can't be playing against Chelsea anyway. But he has been playing really well since moving to Burnley. As you can see, he didn't play any games until game week 22, and 7 games later, he's on 40 points. He's had a decent time, I'd say. He's got an assist, 4 goals altogether, and 1 assist in his 9 games for Burnley. So it ain't a bad run for him, and it's not a bad run at all. So next year he might be a real good asset. Chelsea, I don't fancy looking at their Chelsea defence right now. It's a bit all over the place in it, and the only attacker that I want to look at is Palmer, because Sterling misses chances too much. You play with your heartstrings trying to watch FPL each week and just knowing how bad this guy can be. Onto Crystal Palace, and you know who's actually been kind of sneaking in for me a bit here? It was Munoz. I think he's did really well for Ghent, and under this new manager I think he can really thrive in how he wants to be. He got an assist last week against Luton, and you've got a nice few easy runs coming up. You've got a tough run here, 32 and 33, but double game week, both at home against West Ham and Newcastle. It might be worth backing a Palace defender, and Munoz would be that guy for me. Anderson potentially as well, but Munoz for a bit cheaper isn't too bad. Eze last year was someone that saved me quite a bit, to be fair, so I'd have a bit of love for him. If I had to take anyone out, I'd take Gross out right now and bring in Eze into the fold. that's all I would change in terms of that. Next, we're going on to Everton. Everton players that I want to look at. Maybe Branthwaite, I think he's playing well, but I don't like having central centre backs. So no, I've got Saliba, but I just don't like investing in central centre backs. And in terms of Everton's attack, I'll avoid it. Thank you very much. Fulham, on the other hand, Robinson potentially, but I feel like his points do come in just sprees rather than like in a streak. It's never a big, long, good run from him. It's bits and bobs all over the place, and the only attacker that I'd look at would be Muniz. I'd probably look at Muniz over Tony right now in the form that Muniz is on and the form that Tony's on. I feel like that's fair to say. On to Liverpool, and there's a few from Liverpool you've got to look at the top of the league, and the top of the league for a good reason. Who would you want to look at in this team right now? Maybe with Trent being injured. Trent could be back sooner though. You might want to look at Conor Bradley for now, but Van Dijk might be the more safer option. He has got the 100 points. And then when's you back? Hamstring injury on non-return date. Kelleher might be a good back, to back as well. If you put Kelleher into the Martinez, it might be a worthwhile. In terms of bringing in someone, I'd probably take out Havertz to bring in Salah there. We'll bring in Salah because I think Salah's going to be needed. In terms of attack, I'll avoid Darwin Núñez for now. We'll avoid bringing in someone like Darwin Núñez for now. If we're going to look at Man City. And who would you want to bring in from Man City? I've only got 3 defender spots left, but Douglas Luiz, I want to bring in Foden. The form Foden's on for City this year. Why would you be missing out on him? I think you'd miss out on Haaland. I would just miss out on Haaland right now. 14.3 mil. I know he's 70% owned, but his form's not that great. I know he finds a way every game, and it frustrates me that he does find a way every game. But in these big clutch moments, he's never done anything real good from himself. I think in these next 3 games I can't see him doing much. Luton will probably score. Brighton, I don't know where Brighton have been playing. Forest will score. Wolves will score. Fulham will score. West Ham he'll score. And when that Spurs game is, he will not score because they just don't in the Premier League against Spurs at their new stadium. Don't look at one of the defenders. If you had to go for a City defender, it'd be Kyle Walker. He is playing the most out of defenders, but I just don't like having City players in general. In terms of United, though, I would want to see Dalot into the team, potentially, just down to the fact of he's been on real good form recently. And then, we're going to take out a Solanke to bring in a Højlund. Wouldn't be too bad the way form he has been on. And then we've got 1 defender spot left with 10 mil. Obviously, there's a few teams we've got to look at still. Newcastle being one of them. No Newcastle player really screams out to me. Pope injured though, better at end of April. Dubravka's going to be the main goalkeeper there. But I like them goalkeeper options right now. I would pick Gordon over Eze though. I think that is a good safe option. At only 13.8% owned. It's not bad, it's not bad. In terms of the attack, would I want Isak over Muniz on the form right now? What is Muniz's fixture run looking like? Yeah, he's got Sheffield next game. He can stay in the team. Nottingham Forest, no one here screams out to me at all. I won't lie to you. Forest down in the relegation zone. That negative points, not negative points, but that minus points a couple of weeks ago. We're not even going to look at Sheffield United. I don't think we should look at Sheffield United. We're going to go with Pedro Porro in that defensive spot. I think it's sort of, the rest of the team to be looking at what players you want to bring into these teams. Son would be really tempting, but if you look at that midfield, who am I taking out for Son there? I know I could take Gordon or Palmer out, which might be an option to take Gordon out for Son. And that's a very strong midfield, but to the attack, wouldn't want to bring Werner in for him. Let's take Gordon out and bring in Son. That's what we can do, and then it leaves us with 1.5 mil chilling just about. Going on to West Ham, bringing up West Ham attacker in. No, I don't think so. Bowen's potentially in that midfield, but that midfield just looks nice right now, doesn't it? I mean, I'm missing out on Gordon, which is really annoying. I wish I could have picked 6 midfielders and 2 attackers because I take out Muniz for Gordon straight away. I don't want any of their attackers. And then we're going to look at Wolves, and Wolves are going to tease me with their attackers, aren't they? Because Cunha's coming back from his injury. He's not playing full strength yet. And then they've got a defender that I'd want. I said I didn't want Walker too much anyway. I'd want Aït-Nouri in that team. And that leaves us with 2.4 mil to spend. And you know what? We're going to take Kelleher out. And we're going to actually have bring in Raya. As I told you, I was like, I'm happy with Raya. The games you don't play, Neto coming on for him is not too bad. And yet 1.2 mil for the attacker that you might want to look at. And 1.2 mil extra onto Muniz there. It's not a lot of money, to be fair, is it? It is scraping the bottom of the barrel. That's why you might not want to bring in Son right now, because Son takes you up and then you can have a more expensive attacker. In terms of if I dropped Son there, I'd be able to, you know, put Gordon in. It'd put me on like a 9.8 to get a different striker in, different striker in, and I've got a lot of options there that he could flow with. I don't know actually who I'd go with if I did that. Maybe Darwin Núñez at 7.5 mil or Julian Alvarez. I'm not too sure, but I feel like that's the potential best team. The only place that I'd be unsure on there is Munoz. It's a big risk. 8 Nori is probably a bit of a risk, but I'd be okay with it. Having Son, Foden, I think, potential risk. Muniz, big risk, and Højlund a risk. It's 5 players that are risks. I think Palmer for his price isn't really a risk. Son is Son in it, you know, when Spurs are playing well, he plays well. But yeah, that would be what I would potentially have done with my wildcard. I don't know if I'm going to... I might still play my wildcard. Obviously, you'll find out on Friday if I do play my wildcard in my FPL video for Friday. But that is the end of this video now for now, guys. Let me know if you're playing your wildcard this week. Let me know who you're looking at. Let me know who's you staring down the barrel at. But I do thank you for watching my head explode onto the pitch for you. Thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. If you like the video, please leave a like. And we'll see more, subscribe. Thank you for watching.